going to make changes.
Right.
The reason for the protest is so that we can reserve our rights if they don't make changes?
That is correct. The deadline to file a protest is March 1st. We didn't ask for the information back that quick because we didn't think that was fair. You know, they needed some time to gather the information. So if we say we're going to do protest and they file the stuff and it looks great, now goes out and there's actually food going, then we don't go forward with the hearing. But because it has to be done prior to March 1st,
So if they come up with a plan, we give them 6 months or something like that to show us that they're really going to be restaurant?
I think based on what they present, the board will present it to the board, but it's going to be the end of March or the 1st of April before that happens.
Or have them come in and,
No, I think we would present it to you and then you choose who you need to see.
oh, okay.
Well, you got to understand what a protest is, though. I mean, a protest isn't really a vehicle for policy changes. I mean, a protest is a very specific action that's taken, and then some specific stuff has to happen as a result of it.
Has to be
So
advertised.
if a protest is filed either by a town, and only certain bodies can protest, you know, a group of citizens can protest, the board can protest, the town can protest, but I mean, we've all been through protests. I mean, first of all, you got to have a hearing. I mean, you can't say, oh, well, you sent us a letter, or you gave us some stuff, you know, or you can't say, well, we'll see if you do something in 6 months. What you're doing is saying that this license should not be renewed. And you file, and a protest is filed, and then the onus becomes an onus on the licensee, but who has to come in as if in the case of an original license and present an original license case.
Tell us why they do that. Monitor can
Sure. So and you have to have a hearing. I mean, you can't, because we went through that. I mean, we litigated that one to death one time when the board had a hearing, and if you recall, Bob Kim came in and he said, well, you know, we made a deal with the protesters. and they don't want to protest anymore, and you all said, well, you know, once your protest is filed, you got to have, we've got to follow through, because there's, I don't remember what the outcome of the case was, but I remember the litigation. I mean, I remember that was the board's position, and the courts upheld that position. So, because it says the board shall have a hearing. So, you know, you just have to recall what you're doing here.
Okay, so we have sent them a letter and we asked for an extensive amount of information with regard to being a restaurant. All of these already have, I guess, show causes against them. And so once they respond to our letter with regard to their proposal for being a restaurant, which asks for a lot of specific stuff, then if we don't think that their proposal is adequate, or we don't think it's serious, or if we don't think they're going to do it, then we still already have the show cause that we can call them in on for a hearing, I suppose.
Well, it's not really a show cause. It's
No, not protest, but the show cause. All of these already have a show cause.
Right, but are we talking about protest, or are we talking about show cause? I'm inclined to agree with Mr. Mwalamu. Let's do this under the aegis of a protest, and let them come in with on each of these cases and explain to us.
As a new license.
Yeah, so that we have them on record saying what they're going to do, and you say that has to be done before March 1st.
We don't have to have them by March 1st. We have to have them before the license expires. So we're talking the end of May, because they are B licenses. But the law says a protest has to be filed before March 1st, and so they.
Oh, we have to file.
You have to do it, and so that's the reason for saying that today. Then they come in, file it as though it's a new license. They come in, show menus, show all those things that we've already asked them for.
And that should be a day hearing, probably.
Well, I don't have any problem with the. In fact, in the past, I've urged the board to protest licenses on its own motion on certain licensees that have been
problems.
recalcitrant over a period of time because you put an onus on them to do something, and the board can do it. It's just that, as long as you realize what you're doing, you have to have that hearing.
Yeah,
But the hearing does put the onus on them.
On them
And it
to
does-
show
and it
us-
does-
yeah.
it does- And if they're applying for a restaurant license, they're gonna have to show
so
they've
that they're
got-
gonna be arrested.
That they're really going to be a restaurant. And some, it'll give them an opportunity to address whether they do want to be a restaurant.
Exactly. That sounds
And we,
good.
and we pointed out the last meeting to these people,
Yeah,
the same group, what a restaurant
It's
should
supposed to
be.
be.
right.
And we're just giving them time to make up their mind, do they want to be a restaurant or not a restaurant? And if they want to be a restaurant, you got to provide this type of service.
And you got to come tell us about it.
And you got to come
Yeah,
tell
right.
us about it.
Okay.
So I think just, you have to schedule these people to come in here, each one.
And at a day hearing, it's just like yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Dave,
the
Well,
protests are
they-
usually,
Or
the
even-
protests are night hearings. yeah,
Okay,
the
okay.
I mean, they have been in the past. I don't know
Okay.
what you all want to do at this.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move we protest these 18.
Is it-
These 14.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
When are we gonna schedule them?
May.
May,
I mean, there's a lot of them, so we may have to go to April and May, but we're thinking.
April and May. Let's do it the same month.
I thought you said that the license has to be renewed in
May.
May.
In May, the last day of May.
Oh, last day,
So if we
okay.
did them, if we did them the first 2 weeks in May, the first 2 night hearings, then we've given them as much time as we possibly
What
can.
about the first two in April?
We could do the 2 in April.
And then if it gets too long, we can extend it, but yeah, let's do the first two in April.
Yeah, I think we need to get it out of the way as soon as
As soon as
possible.
possible.
So kind of give them, focus them.
Yeah, so that they can't come back to us and say, well, we didn't get our paperwork in for a renewal because you guys held us up.
All your fault.
All our fault.
Okay,
Well, they've got to apply anyway. I mean, they have to apply. This is just a different deadline for renewal. I mean, if a citizens group wants to renew, they've got to file the papers
Right.
early enough in the proceedings so that the board can schedule a hearing that's going to be a hearing. But the other thing I want to say is I think that we ought to, in each one of these cases, file a letter maybe, or a memo or something signed by the chairman, and you can certify that a vote was taken or something, that the board is formally protesting this. So that,
We'll advertise, we'll post the property, it'll become an official part of the minutes.
yeah. But I mean, I think there ought to be something in each individual case.
Yeah,
that-
okay.
That there was, the board voted to protest this when they go back and,
And the reason for the protest?
no,
You don't have to have the
No.
reason for the protest?
don't have to have a reason for a protest. So
Oh.
if you don't need a reason, you
Stay away from it.
you better not give one.
Then we shut up, then we shut up, right?
Okay.
El Puente de Oro,
This is one of the places that we audited. They didn't send us the paperwork. The board expires the license, then all of a sudden they get that letter and they file their backup. And so, do you want to reinstate it?
what is the opinion of,
The backup is here.
is
And
it,
they're actually figures, that they're selling over 50% food.
is it as good a backup as the other ones we've approved?
Yes.
Anybody have any questions?
I'm looking.
What was your first part of the statement?
Remember we picked out the places that we were going to audit?
Uh-huh,
We sent them all a letter.
okay.
Some people responded immediately. Some people were a little slower to respond. These were a little slower to respond. They waited till after we expired the license. Did they get a violation?
Yes. They have a ticket.
So they get a violation, then they figure out we're serious, and then they file the backup.
Oh, okay.
They're not doing too badly.
Yeah,
No, really, I mean, their sales, according to the affidavit, or they're selling more food than alcohol.
Well, if you believe the numbers, but
Is there a motion?
move we give them back their Sunday sales.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Thank you all. Have a nice night.
Oh, before we leave, Al, I got a call today from an inspector who would,
Before you go any further, we should stop the recording because this is a personnel matter. So can you let them know?
he got it.
Okay, thank you.
I